from our team in and sharing with you a few tidbits. My name is Jessianna Saville. I'm the owner and founder of Kidney Nutrition Institute. And I am here with Susannah, one of our expert dietitians on our team. And we are going to be talking today about a massively important topic, and that is water. Not only about hydration, some of the big questions around alkaline water. So if you've had questions about how much should I drink, is it good to drink, not good to drink, should I spend the money on alkaline water, stay with us for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and we're going to go through that and give some clarity on this topic. So welcome, Susannah. Thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me, Jess.
So Susannah, to start this out, maybe you can share with me a little bit on the importance of hydration and water in general for kidney health and what people should be looking to do.
Definitely. So every person requires a different amount of fluid in their diet every day. And so depending on what stage of kidney function you are, you'll have to drink a different amount of water. Also, other health conditions can impact how much water you need every day. So make sure you speak with your doctor or registered dietitian to gauge more clarity in how much you need. But water is essential in all of the processes that go on in our body. So we definitely want to stay well hydrated when indicated, and especially for those with polycystic kidney disease.
Oh, awesome. So how much would people be aiming to drink? Let's say that they don't have to restrict it for any reason. How much would someone with kidney disease aim to drink if they don't have to have any restrictions, which could be a huge portion of people with early stage?
So it depends on your height and weight, but typically it's about 8 or more cups a day. And that would really depend on a lot of other factors as well: sex, age, height, weight, things like that.
Okay. And I usually tell my patients, like, just make sure your pee is clear. Like if you're urinating frequently and your pee is clear, same as if you don't have kidney disease, that's a good marker. One little caveat there is a lot of people that are doing plant-based diets are on B vitamins, and they're like, whoa, like my urine turns like neon yellow when I take those B vitamins, and it will, and that's not a bad thing. It's just some of the waste products from the B vitamins. You can still stay well hydrated, even if you're taking B vitamins here. And it looks neon yellow. Okay, so good hydration. And you mentioned PKD, that hydration is a particular concern. Can you just share a little bit more about that? I think that's a really, really great point to bring up.
Absolutely. There's strong evidence that suggests that maintaining overhydration, much more than adequate hydration, can help slow cyst growth in polycystic kidney disease and help maintain renal function overall for those with polycystic kidney disease.
Awesome. Yeah. And I know, especially if you're on GnRQ or tolvaptan and you've qualified to take that medicine, hydration is part of that therapy, and you have to really drink a lot of water to make sure that you're going to get the best impact from that. So thanks for bringing that up. Okay, let's go on to one of the big questions that always comes up, and that is the hype around alkaline water. We'll start with that type of water. There's lots of different specialty waters out there. But alkaline water in particular, I see this show up on kidney forums all over the place. Is alkaline water, is it harmful for kidney disease? Is it helpful for kidney disease? And is there anything else that we should be watching out for people if they're going to be using alkaline water as part of their regimen?
Great question. I get this all the time. So alkaline water it can be found naturally in nature, in the environment. It really depends on the source of where this water is coming from. But you can also purchase alkaline water. And alkaline water is just water that has a little more base to it. So it's the opposite of acidic. And alkaline waters have a lot of minerals in them, whether it's added or whether it's naturally occurring. And those minerals are things like calcium, magnesium, potassium. Sometimes you can find phosphorus in alkaline waters. So there is some good evidence that suggests that alkaline diets rich in fruits and vegetables help kind of counteract metabolic acidosis and chronic kidney disease. However, we don't have too much research on alkaline water in particular. with human studies, but it is not harmful as long as you are looking at the ingredient list, making sure you avoid the ones with added phosphates. There are some alkaline waters that definitely have different ingredient profiles. So I would suggest sticking to the ones without the added phosphates. Plus, monitor your potassium levels. If you do have chronic kidney disease, you want to make sure that you're not taking the alkaline waters with added potassium if your potassium has been high in the past. Otherwise, they're good to go. But again, the diet rich in fruits and vegetables is how you're going to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to alkalinity.
Cool. So what I'm hearing from you is that you could use them if you want to. Watch out for the ones with phos additives. And I can show an example real quick. I actually didn't know before we got on today that some of the alkaline waters had extra phos in them, but you can use them if you want to. But really, you can get the same benefit as far as we know right now from the research. I don't know, maybe there's something about the minerals only being in water versus food. I don't know. But you can get the same benefit just from having a diet that is very nutrient dense. There's other ways that you could target metabolic acidosis. You may not need to foot the extra cash for an alkaline water, although it may not necessarily hurt you. That's kind of, well, that's my long, I guess it's not really a summary, it's kind of a long summary. So I'm going to just share real quick the one Susannah was sharing with me ahead of time. So we were looking at the Essentia. And if you look here, I should pull this up closer. I don't know what happens if I'm going to click on this. But if you look here at this tiny thing, it says purified water, sodium bicarbonate, dipotassium phosphate. And that's what you're picking on as the phosphate additive there. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So if you're going to use a different, if you're going to use alkaline ionized water, don't use this brand because it's going to have added phosphates for sure.
That's right. And there are some brands that do have the perfect ingredient profile without the added phos.
Okay, cool. That is good. Okay, so tell me just a little bit more about any other like water trip ups that people might run into. They say, I'm going to drink a ton of water. And what could be some problems they might run into? They're like, yeah, I don't like it plain. What could be some problems they run into?
So I've noticed that a lot of people are drinking things like sport waters, Gatorade, which have a lot of sugar. They're meant to help replete all of the things that you're losing when you're sweating. So things like potassium and salt. So you want to be careful if you're having those sport drinks. Let's say you have hypertension. You want to avoid that because that's going to give you a lot more salt in the diet. When it comes to other beverages like, there are some that have like fruit on the label. It looks beautiful. It looks healthy. We associate it with, giving our bodies all the nutrients we need. However, some of those beverages can have additives and preservatives, things you really want to look at. So take a look at the label on the back of the container. Make sure you know what exactly you're getting. If it's just water and maybe some flavoring, and you like adding some flavor to your beverages, then that's fine. But if it has other ingredients like the phosphorus, you want to try and avoid those as best as you can.
I know that is something that's totally surprised me. Like you pick up like a flavored water and you're like, oh, it's clear. There's like nothing in it. It's just water, right? How can there possibly be any downsides to this? And you look on the label and you're like, what? They added all this stuff in here. But they didn't need to. Like I just wanted water with like a touch of flavor. And you can get all the time phosphate additives will creep into those flavored waters and you don't realize it. So, just double checking your label can really help, and then you switch to another brand. There's lots of brands that don't have the phosphate additives.
Yeah. And my favorite way to approach a sweetened beverage is just to cut up some fruit as much as you want and throw it into some water and let it sit for a while and marinate and get all delicious. You could throw herbs in there like mint or basil and really have such a refreshing beverage without all of the extra things that we want to avoid putting in our bodies, like preservatives.
Well, and I'll tell you, my husband, he doesn't always love, like, he gets tired of plain water after a while. And so he was buying like punch packets. And then my kids are like, yeah, we want punch packets too. And I'm not big on the artificial sweeteners. But then he switched to these, like the True Lime and the True Lemon packets, and they're a really good product. They don't have they have, what do they have? Crystallized lime in it. That's all they have. And they had a great flavor to it. The kids always want his water. It's got a little bit of extra flavor. And that's something that could work as well. If having a little bit of flavor really helps you out to get some of that extra hydration and stay well hydrated. So.
Definitely prevent those acute kidney injuries from dehydration and keep yourself well hydrated in general to maintain appropriate health.
Perfect. Okay, so one other quick like heads up question for people. Tell me about how your hydration status can impact your labs.
Yeah.
And just a little bit there, because I see this come up actually quite a bit, and I think it's a really good thing to have a heads up on.
Definitely. I've seen this really impact some of the patients I've taken care of in the hospital setting and in the dialysis setting. Having a lot of fluid on the body when your kidneys aren't able to fully, kind of excrete that fluid at a good pace, that can cause fluid to build up in the body. And what happens aside from all the things that we feel and see, like swelling or shortness of breath, we also noticed adjustments in the labs like low albumin levels or blood protein. So you'll see protein kind of being a little bit low if someone is very, very overhydrated, retaining a lot of fluid, not being able to get it out on their own. Also, you might see in some occasions sodium looking low in the blood, but sometimes that's because there's a lot of fluid diluting the salt in the blood or the sodium in the blood. So keep an eye out for that. If you have low sodium, that may mean that you are overhydrated and unable to kind of keep up with the normal rhythm.
Yeah, I think those are good markers. And I've had people that they're like, my GFR got way, way worse. Like, how come it got worse? I've been in all these things, and we'll like back up a little bit. I'll be like, so tell me about the day before. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't feeling well, or we were traveling and I didn't drink very much. I was like, oh, well, just go get your lab redrawn and like make sure you're well hydrated for your lab so you have a good baseline, because it'll totally make your GFR look lower. And yeah, so that could be a big piece. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining me. I guess there's not another person behind me, but except maybe my kids in the other room. But thank you for joining me, Susannah. I thought these were some really good tips for our patients. And for all of you that are watching this evening, if you want more information about kidney disease, you want to dig into some recipes, you can go over to our website at kidneynutritioninstitute.org. Working with us, you can work with one of our experts on our team, like Susannah. You need to click on work with us, and then you'll fill out a patient application, and our admin will get back to you in 24 hours. That's just so we can match you with the right dietitian. And anyway, so that's what you can do if you want to get some expert dietitians on your team, create a custom plan, and really dig into your nutrition and find a good strategy for yourself to keep your kidneys healthier longer. So anyways, thanks, Susannah. Thanks so much for joining us, and everyone else who's watched tonight. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jess. Bye, everyone.